Hi everyone, welcome to the Suffolk Voice. My name's Ben Fountain, and I'm at the 73 Tremont studio today with current Vice President Nick DiZoglio. Nick, how you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
Doing all right. You're running for Vice President, I'm understanding again?
Yeah.
Let's just get right into it then. First question,
Sure.
Explain your role as Vice President of SGA and the goals that you were trying to accomplish during the past year.
All right. First off, Vice President of the Student Government Association is the second lead. If the president ever walks out, always, not around, the Vice President takes follow. He's also the chair of the Student Judicial Review Board, and with that, he looks over all the constitutions at the university that goes through clubs and organizations, and also helps along the process of Programming 101 and et cetera with SLI, Student Leadership and Involvement. The university, for my position this year, I've definitely kind of gone a different route in how I interacted with the administration. Last year I did say that I wanted more outreach with student involvement. I wanted to get students involved. By doing that, I went to orientation programs, certain fairs that we have here on campus, promoting the name of SGA. We saw a huge increase this year in attendance, huge increase, and mostly with the freshman and sophomore population. Senior, of course, every year the seniors die out, and the juniors we've seen a huge, participation throughout my freshman year to now. Last year I said that I would like to get a bus program here at the university. Well, a lot of people agreed that it was a great program. Just a few of the higher ups said that no, because of the money. So as of right now, I'm working with a few students from NESAD to do a petition to get that bus here, because we don't know when the 2013 building will be done.
Right.
It might not be 2013. So we got to think about the future now.
Okay.
So let's start now and work with that. I also planned commuter student breakfast. The commuter student breakfast, well, it was agreed on, but Sodexo cleaned house here at Suffolk.
Right.
A whole new administration came in with the Sodexo company, so we had a compromise. That compromise came out with the commuter student value meal card, which will help students save $1 every time they purchase something. So when the fifth dollar comes up, they have a $5 voucher pass to get anything in the cafeteria. Another thing was being a part of the BILC conference. It's the Boston Inter Leadership Conference, which is every SGA e-board getting together their school in the Boston area to meet every semester.
Okay.
With that conference, we reach out to Boston, into the community, and we work together with different universities and schools. There was one other thing, Miller Hall and the other dormitories, getting TVs in the lounges. Well, if West Street has it and the new modern theater is going to have it,
right,
why not the other ones? So in the process of working with RHA, again, 4 goals, 2 of them were set. The other 2, again, you can't do 4 things all in 1 year when you have other things coming up, such as, the diversity amendment that we worked on. The, again, ride-along program, the newspapers, etc.
Right. Okay, well, like you said, you had 2 of the 4 goals. And if you get reelected, would you?
I'm pushing,
again,
petition right now for the bus. And then with the TVs, we got to look at what happens with modern theater,
right,
along with maybe if the Hyatt and Holiday Inn is purchased again for rent or lease.
Okay. What other goals would you be, looking to accomplish if you get reelected besides those 2 main ones?
Well, next year I would like to see more student outreach.
Okay.
Again, the BILC, first semester of being a part of it, we came in second place at the conference with our SGA. It was involvement, leadership ability, and the strengths of the university, and location was
right,
part of that. Being a part of that, student outreach will be able to work with other universities with different clubs,
right,
different programs, different SGAs. College Democrats here can work with College Democrats over there.
Okay.
The Caribbean Student Network here could work with their Caribbean Student Network
Okay.
over there. So it's all about intermingling the universities and also getting Suffolk's name out there, working together as a community. If we're part of the Boston community, we need to be a part of it with the other students.
Right.
300,000 students live in Boston during the months of September and June.
Right.
Why not go out there and make some more friends?
Exactly. Okay. I like the way you're going with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the SGA and as your role in VP, you've received some criticism for not serving the interest of the student body. Yep. Some have even said that there's not enough student outreach out there, and the group is too concerned with his own image. Do you think the criticism is fair? I mean, what's your personal opinion on that?
Since freshman year, I've always been kind of intimidated by the structure of SGA.
Okay.
Now, The e-board itself has no voting rights. It's the Senate. The Senate has a huge majority of the voting rights. The e-board just primarily orders it.
Okay.
Now, in the long run, the barrier needs to come down. The transparency has to work. My door is not always closed.
No.
It's always open most of the time. And I live on campus. By living on campus, I've been able to work with the students of the residence halls and the clubs that need my help.
Okay.
Club come up to me, Nick, we need help, give me an idea, help us, whatever. I've been always there to put my hand in and help out.
Okay.
You know, again, I can't speak for the Senate, I can't speak for the other e-board members or the other nominees. But next year, regardless of who wins and who's a part of the Senate, you know, again, you look at SGA and you think they're intimidating.
Right.
Well, yes, some of them think they're intimidating people. It's not fair, it's not right. So next year, the outreach program needs to go full force that Brian LaForte has proposed. Now, for me, I think outreaching to the students is important, yes. Right. But let's get those students that we outreach to involving students more in tribe to what's going on. So let's say if you're not involved in a club, how do we get you involved? We got to capture some sort of attention from you.
Okay.
Now, regardless if we're in SGA, we should be publicizing for all the clubs. We should be working to push students to join PC, the college Democrats, Republicans, cultural clubs, political clubs all over.
Right.
You need to get students into that idea that involvement isn't just a college social life, it is a social life here at Suffolk.
Right.
I mean, academics are important, but to have social life involved, it makes a true college experience.
Okay. To follow up on that, how would you go about enforcing LaForte's as vice president? How would you go about
I would be working with, hopefully, Mitch Viega, who's the incumbent, running unopposed,
right.
To literally work with students one-on-one at orientation, Temple Street Fair, the Winter Involvement Fair, making sure that SGA has some sort of part with the university's events and clubs. Not taking credit, just publicizing them. If I'm working with your club, I want SGA to know about it and I want them to publicize it. Okay. Also, with the transparency between students and the SGA, I plan on sending, and this is my promise, monthly emails of everything that SGRB has done, Finance Committee has done, and the SGA Senate. We need to break down that barrier, and that's the first place we need to do. Not semester-wide newsletters, it should be monthly newsletters, along with our minutes and so on and so forth. And if we can't send out emails to the student body, we're going to make a website. We're going to have a website up and running to work with the student body. Right now, we have proposed two different types of sites that the e-board's working on. We always wanted this. Since my freshman year, I know Jared Kane, the former president of SGA, and Brian LaForte have been pushing for a student-run website for the SGA. So doing this, again, transparency will break down that barrier.
Okay, well, very good. You've also talked a lot about extending Suffolk's reach around Boston. You've already talked a little about it, but expand more on the strategies that you have and how practical is this goal?
Yeah, it's very practical. The BILC is a conference sponsored by universities throughout Boston and the city of Boston.
Okay.
This conference is not going to die. Many of the things that we talked about in this conference is adding it to our Constitution to add a committee person to it.
Okay.
Now, schools such as Harvard, Bentley, Brandeis, Bryant, BU, BC, Wheelock, Emerson, Emmanuel, Suffolk, Northeastern. I could go for all of the schools of Boston. We had over 100 people, 150 people at that conference. I met every e-board in the city of Boston. Now, by doing that, now the communication's open. The emails are flooding in through the BILC. And this conference, if it comes to Suffolk, we came on second, which means that we should be holding it in the springtime of next year, 2011. The conference will come here. We'll show them around the university, network. They get to meet the clubs. They get to meet the presidents of the clubs. Make, again, connections. Okay. With that connection, that will lead their club into maybe retreats with other clubs, intramural sports, PAO spin-offs. Like, seriously, Bent had a show 4 weeks ago, that had Amherst College and I believe either Emerson or I believe it was Emerson.
Okay.
Coming, working together.
Well, you got the confidence, you got the great plans. Well, hopefully you get elected.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Nick, always a pleasure talking to you.
Always a pleasure, too.
Well, that's our time for today. For those that are interested in voting for Nick and other candidates, voting begins March 8th through the 10th on SU Connect. I'm Ben Fountain. Again, this is Nick DiZoglio. Have a good day, people.
Thank you.